Team Fortress 2 Horror. It is something that has taken over the Team Fortress space in all shapes and forms, with it not only showing the amazing talent of so many creators, but also giving the Team Fortress 2 community something to talk about. This genre has somehow found a home within Team Fortress, and in a video I made previously, I briefly covered horror and battle games in general, and mentioned Team Fortress 2. But today, I wanted to talk about the Team Fortress horror phenomena. While horror in Team Fortress is not necessarily new, with all the way back in 2012 we were getting the Team Fortress Team Killer, and in 2017 with Hoovy Dundee, which IntrakitLabs is cooking a video on that series, so please go check that out when it releases. But ever since the release of Emesis Blue, we have seen an explosion in the popularity of horror in Team Fortress, which I'll talk about Emesis Blue by itself later in the video. But ever since then, we have gotten so many new series, with the other two most popular being the Team Fortress Anomalies, and of course, Server Blight, with countless other indie series that have been made. But not only do I want to glaze the hell out of all these series, but I felt like I need to talk about the criticisms and issues that come from it as well. But I think first we should talk about the... As famous writer and poet Edgar Allan Poe once said, TF2 kinda freaky sometimes. Crazy face emoji. Honestly, the better question in this case is why not? Team Fortress 2 is not the only piece of more innocent media that's been turned into something horrific. I mean, Sonic.exe, SpongeBob, there's plenty of media that have been turned into horror, so why not TF2? But if we want to dig deeper, we could just mention the source engine itself. It's an older engine that has always had an off feeling to it, especially when playing alone. But when it comes to Team Fortress in particular, I've seen tons of Reddit threads about being freaked out when alone in a server at weird times of the day, and I've had that feeling that something was off. Maybe it's the ambient noise, or it's possibly just that weird feeling you get when you see a place that's known to have noise and people, and when it's empty, it feels wrong. It could also be a part of another fear, which I could see being the case, which is that there's a fear that this game will eventually die. That one day you will log on and no one else is playing, and then you will also log off for the last time as well. But it could just be way more simple than that, that people have a piece of media that they love and are using their skills and tools they have to make something creative with it. But of course, when it comes to media like this, there will be issues that can affect the way people perceive or consume this content. And one of these issues, I'm guilty of myself. With anything that gets popular on YouTube and the internet in general, we find that people will take the opportunity to make videos talking about that exact thing and adding either barely anything or nothing at all. I mean, look at drama channels, the same stories or info regurgitated without adding anything of substance. But in the case of Team Fortress Horror and the amazing animations or works of art that people make, there will be channels like mine that cover it. And I'm going to be specifically talking about myself in this case. I love talking about these series, and when I find one obscure one or a new one that comes out, I want to give my take and discuss it. But on more than one occasion, I found myself doing more recapping and adding very little in terms of discussion when it comes to these series. Not intentionally, but it still has happened. I'm not the only one, but with a platform as big as I have, I feel like I should be doing more, especially due to these people spending weeks or even months to years working on these projects for me to just talk about it without adding as much as I should be. And for that, I'm sorry not only to my audience, but to the hardworking creators who make these series. From now on, if I cover a series, I will make sure that if I talk about it, I'll add something to the experience rather than just feed into the YouTube mindset of pumping out videos whenever I get the chance. And for anyone else who does the same, I would recommend following the same path. Moving on, what's next on here? Let me see. Oh, yeah. Emesis Blue is insane. It not only popularized Team Fortress Horror in the community, but outside of it as well, with it garnering, as of January of 2025, 13 million views. It was made by the indie production company Fortress Films and written, directed, and animated by Chad Payne. And I mean, with a name like Chad, it only fits that he would go out of his way to make one of the best pieces of Team Fortress media out there. I mean, it's a literal film that's an hour and 48 minutes in length, and if I could see this in a theater, I would, because it's literal cinema. This film also took inspiration from other films and proudly shows that, like films like The Shining, The House That Jack Built, and Dr. Strangelove, which you can tell he's a Kubrick fan, among the plenty of other references.
But I've given you everything you wanted, and I'm giving you exactly what you deserve.
It's fully voice acted and some of the most beautiful and captivating animation out there, and some of the shots in this film made me not believe that's even made in source filmmaker. The horror that stems from this film is shown and felt in so many ways with body horror, Lovecraftian in some instances, and above all else psychological, with you watching this film not sure what's real and what's not. The film doesn't even have a protagonist, with everyone seeming like someone you cannot trust, which is crazy because it's the Team Fortress cast. Not to mention this film is a mystery that slowly unravels as the film goes on. Emesis Blue set the standard for Team Fortress horror, but with that has come issues. Now when every piece of new Team Fortress horror media comes out, you will get the amount of times I have seen on my videos and other Team Fortress Horror media videos that has come out, I have found comments like, this is just Emesis Blue, or this is Emesis Blue, but worse. And has had me saying, why? It seems like if anything gets popular, we will get people comparing it to something else, and not in a good way. Emesis Blue, TF2 Anomalies, and Server Blight are all completely different stories told in their own way, and have different types of evils. Emesis Blue has psychological horror, the TF2 Anomalies has, well, anomalies that could either be a haunting or something else. Still trying to figure those out. And Server Blight has this parasitic entity that, well, we're still trying to piece that together as well. They should all be respected in their own right, but comparing them to one another leaves us feeling like there's only one option, and the rest are below it. Everyone is entitled to their opinions, and liking one more than the other is fine, but saying that they're all shadows of Emesis Blue or worse feels wrong. But moving on, we have the next piece of Team Fortress Horror, and it's one of my favorites. I don't know if the TF2 Anomalies is the official name for the series, but this series is something else, with this horror starting off right from the beginning, with people playing Team Fortress getting straight up harassed by these entities that seem to stalk and terrify the player within Team Fortress, looming in the shadows and trying to use a white space to travel from place to place, with the Red Sniper Anomaly being the main antagonist of the story. This series is made by Kill's Reality, and the series has been evolving over time and hopping from more animation and story focused, and at the same time showing the POVs of different players being terrorized by these things. It's a series that I'm always excited for when a new one drops, and it's animated in such an interesting way, with it mainly being focused on the POV of players, but also sometimes using VR to animate, which is also really cool and gives us these unique perspective shots. It's terrifying, it's unique, and it's always exciting to see a new part of the series drop. But now, we should move on to the most recent part of this subgenre. It's, of course, Server Blight is the new series on the block, and it is making waves with it being something that has yet again breathed fresh air into TF2 horror, but also giving the community something to talk about. It's a series that has sparked fan theories, art, and plenty of videos talking about it, and it's not hard to tell why. It's animated beautifully, and it tells the story of Aaron and other characters, and this horrifying being that is taking people and making it part of itself in Team Fortress. It's only just started with 4 parts, it has the remnants of the film The Thing, and what the series does exceptionally well is body horror, with creature designs and sound design that will make anyone feel sick to their stomach. It's so exciting to see a new series like this and seeing how so many people are enjoying it. And this series just started, so that just shows how much of an impact it has. The series is made by Dirtfish06 Studios and possibly Lino, and they do an amazing job with the series. And of course, if you want to see what's going on with any of these series, go and check them out. I will link all of them in the description if you haven't already seen them, but I haven't even gotten to talk about there is a lot of underrated TF2 horror series online. And just random solo videos are also disturbing, such as 2-4 Engineer Ritual Sighting, or if TF2 was a horror game, but there's some series that I feel have not gotten their flowers. Some I have talked about, but there's a lot you should check out for yourselves. Laodarz Team Fortress, Analog Horror Series, Steel Scout Team Fortress 2, and TF2 Lover are some that come to mind. All series that have their own stories and are very underrated. With more and more series coming up, it's always nice to see when new ones drop, and see what people can do with their creativity and skills to create some of the most amazing pieces of Team Fortress media out there. Not to mention, a lot of these are kind of ARGs, which gives you a lot to engage with as the audience. And of course, I can only thank these creators and the people who made all these series, because without them, I would not have a channel. These are all talented creators, and of course I can't wait to see what the future holds for these series. So what about... The future of TF2 Horror seems bright. Every couple months we get something new and exciting for the community to talk about. We have multiple ongoing series right now, and new ones are popping up semi-frequently. And what I hope above all else with this horror genre being part of TF2, that it keeps bringing new people in that would be interested in playing the game. And who knows, one of these people might end up making something that will be some amazing creative work as well. But yeah, we'll see. Let me know what you think, and thank you for watching. And I'll see you later.